Well, what can I say about Bloodsucking Freaks? Possibly, nay, probably the most offensive movie ever released by Troma Entertainment, which is really saying something. So the premise of this movie is that we have an off-Broadway theatre run by a very flamboyant chap named Sardu and his diminutive Puerto Rican protege, Ralphus. So they stage grand guignol-type performances for pretentious Manhattan socialites, where Ralphus demonstrates his various methods of torture and murder. But the twist in all of this, in case you didn't guess already, is that Sardu and Ralphus are actually torturing and murdering these women for real, because Sardu's Theatre of the Macabre is actually a front for a white slavery operation. The performers, if you can call them that, are basically the white slaves that didn't work out, the untrainable, unbreakable white slaves. So this is quite a remarkable movie. It's well written and it's smarter than the average bear or twink. So Seamus O'Brien and Louis de Jesus or Louis de Jesus or Louis de Jesus turn in amazing performances, and they share quite a bit of strong chemistry as Sardu and Ralphus. And they make all the best bits of the movie, and they're certainly the most memorable comedic duo in the history of horror, at least in my opinion. So basically every scene that they're in, they're the only thing that you notice. I'd say that they chew up the scenery, but almost the entire movie's shot in this weird black misty void. So there's not really much scenery to chew up. So tonally the movie's very original. I mean, the subject matter should dictate that it should feel really dark, mean-spirited, and nihilistic. At least that's what you'd expect. But Sardu and Ralphus are just so damn charming and likeable that it's hard to feel that way. Now, this movie's been frequently accused of misogyny, and I'm old and I'm probably not woke enough to really evaluate that, for better or worse, so I had to ask Grok, and Grok advised me that because Ralphus is an XS, that's extra small, Puerto Rican midget with mental disorders, his accumulated identity politics status does trump these boring XX white slaves. So therefore, Ralphus can't possibly be accused of misogyny in this movie. Just the director, Joel M. Reed. At least that's what Grok told me before it went ahead and generated an image of Joel M. Reed in a bikini. But that's another matter. Ironically, given the subject matter, Bloodsucking Freaks could probably be adapted as a really cool stage play, and it'd make a really wild double bill, I reckon, with 1974's Deranged, another movie with an amazing and memorable lead villain in Pinhead par excellence, Robert's Blossom. It's a movie that's somehow even more offensive now than when it was made half a century ago. They most certainly don't make them like Bloodsucking Freaks or BSF anymore. It's a movie that certainly polarises horror fans. Eli Roth, director of Cabin Fever, describes it as brilliant. Hip-hop group De La Soul allegedly described Bloodsucking Freaks as their favourite drama movie. Respect. And Quentin Tarantino derides it as total crap, which is a little bit unfair coming from Quentin Tarantino, and it could even mean that he loves it because he loves a lot of crap. But most of the cast and crew involved have distanced themselves from the film with all of the commitment of Nazi war criminals hiding out in Argentina, and they're about as difficult to find and track down. If only most of Hollywood had that kind of commitment to a sense of shame, the world would be a better place. But at any rate, Bloodsucking Freaks, or BSF as I like to call it, is a movie that's still talked about in hushed tones and still referenced today, a half century later. There's a lot of social commentary about artistic pretension. I mean, these theatre audiences literally have their heads stuck up so far up their own clackers that they aren't even noticing that there's real murders happening on stage right in front of them. So a very cool movie. Hopefully you've seen BSF or you've heard of it. For those of you that have seen Bloodsucking Freaks, what do you think the verdict is on this one? Is it the greatest drama of all time, or is it total crap, as Quentin Tarantino says? Feel free to discuss in the comments, and maybe let us know your favourite Ralphus, or Sardu quip. And thanks for joining me to discuss Bloodsucking Freaks on its 50th anniversary of release. As I said, it's a very polarising movie. People are very divided on this one. They're either incredibly offended or incredibly charmed by it. And as I said, a lot of the charm does come from the chemistry between Louis de Jesus or Louis de Jesus or Louis de Jesus or Louis de Jesus. Plenty of aliases. And Sardu, his mentor, his muse. So, or maybe Ralphus is Sardu's muse. But quite a lot to discuss in this movie, and feel free to discuss in the comments. This was one of the original video nasties, of course, especially in the UK. I believe it was banned in Queensland as well. But it was very mean to the artistic vision of Seamus O'Brien and Louis de Jesus, because they are the reason to watch. They're the highlight of the movie. Very memorable characters, some great one-liners, some great scenes with these two. I love the whole odd couple juxtaposition and all the confusing moments and all the wild and outlandish moments. Bloodsucking Freaks used to seem quite far-fetched, quite distant from the realms of reality, but since Epstein and Epstein Island and all of that, it really doesn't look as implausible as it once did. And you could imagine Sardu and Ralphus partying on Epstein's Lolita Express or on his island or something like that. And so it is. It does have at least 1 foot grounded in reality, given recent developments. So what do you think of Bloodsucking Freaks? It's a movie that was that is just as offensive now, perhaps more offensive now than when it was made. And a very divisive movie. Very dark humour, of course. Gallows humour, which is the one thing that doesn't feature in Bloodsucking Freaks, ironically, is gallows. They've got everything else. They've got they've got guillotines and they've got all kinds of things, but not gallows, which is unusual. So cool little satire, I guess, of artistic pretension, New York theatre, and that whole scene. The line between art and exploitation, a lot of social commentary there in Bloodsucking Freaks, or BSF as I prefer to call it. It would make a pretty cool double bill with something like The Wizard of Gore from Herschel Gordon Lewis, which goes through simpler themes but less effectively, in my opinion. But nevertheless, those two would make quite a cool little double. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little look at, little analysis of one of the most divisive horror films of all time, one of the most offensive of all time. People either love it or hate it. It's like coriander in that regard, or Brussels sprouts. So let us know in the comments if you're in the camp of the coriander or Brussels sprouts camp of loving it rather than hating it. And that's about all I've got time for today. If you enjoyed the video, if you're enjoying what I'm doing here, please like, share and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Take it easy.